Hey, it's Kristen. In this video, I'm going to review for you 3 things that you can do to help improve your Schoology page. So the first thing I want to talk about is organizing your materials. We all know that using folders is the best way to do this, and you want to make sure you organize them in a logical manner. You want to avoid having a lot of materials outside the folder, or even within a folder, you want to avoid the scroll of doom. You also want to place your learning targets in the folder description versus in a document. This allows them to be visible for both students and parents on the outside of whatever you're doing. And then you want to make sure that you're hiding what's upcoming or placing your current units at the top. Some of you I know put past units in a folder. And you also want to make sure that your learning tasks are clearly labeled, that it's clear where these are located and how to access them. Here's a couple of examples. This is a great example of a well-organized folder structure. Here's a great folder, but inside you can see there's a ton of things. It kind of keeps scrolling down. So instead, you want to try to do folders within folders to try to make that more organized. Also with learning targets, you can see this first example has a general overview of the learning targets, and this one down at the bottom here has just a PDF with learning targets, whereas in this example, they're in the folder description on the outside, much more visible for the learner. Again, in this one, very easy to see what the I can statements are right when you visit their front page. The second tip I have for you is about adding materials. Just like using a logical folder structure, you want to use logical names of files. You want to make sure that they match the description of the assignment and they match the folder naming structure so that if you name an assignment, it's easy to find where those materials can be located within your folder. You can use files or links, but I'd recommend that you don't use Word documents because they must be converted and they can't always be opened by parents if they're wanting to see what's going on in your class. The great thing about turning any Google document or Google presentation into a link is that they're active, so any changes that you make are made right on your Schoology page without having to go into both places. And always make sure that if you're using a link that you show in a new window versus showing in Schoology. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. You also want to make sure that the naming between Schoology and Skyward is the same. And if you're using the integration, that takes care of that, no problem. So here's an example. 2 of these they used. The first one is Word documents, and the second one actually was uploaded from resources, but both need to be downloaded by the student before they can be opened. Here's an example of a link that is being shown in Schoology, and you could easily change this to open in a new window. Anytime you're adding a link, this little box right here, you click on so that it displays in a new window instead of displaying in Schoology. That's a little bit difficult for some students and parents to maneuver. Final tip number 3 is the calendar. You should have something on there each day. This should be a planner for our kids. They don't have a paper planner, so they should be able to go in there and see kind of what's coming up each day. You can use events or assignments. Remember that events are usually something happening in class, something that is not going to go in the grade book, where assignments are used for graded work. But you can use assignments as events as long as you have some details in there. Tests can be used for what's going on for that day, or if you're giving a paper test, you can put that in as an event or an assignment. If you put it in as an assignment or a test, you can add the scores right in there. And make sure that as best practice, you try to link supplemental material or give description of where they can find that material in the assignment details. Here's an example of a calendar where it's hard to see what they're doing from day to day. There's only a few things that are listed there. And here's an example of an assignment where there really isn't much detail. If I was a parent or a student and went into this and I was absent, I might not know where to find those supplemental materials. Whereas in this calendar, there's something every day, definitely can be used as a planner. And here's an example of an event that tells me kind of exactly what we're doing for the day. Great use of Schoology as kind of a planner. So those are some tips and tricks to help you to be a better Schoology user. If you need any help with upgrading, redesigning, making over your Schoology page, or you want to review any of the things in this quick video, don't hesitate to contact Kristen.